What up, everybody? You're watching New York Giants Now by Chat Sports. I am your host, Marshall Green. The Giants have had 6 training camp practices up to this point. They have an off day on Wednesday, which is today. So I thought it would be a good idea to kind of recap what has gone on so far and list out some winners and losers. The Giants, they have 3 training camp practices remaining this week. They practice at 10 a.m. on Thursday, 10 a.m. on Friday, then 5 p.m. on Saturday. And then it's game week, week 1 of the preseason. First game coming up on Friday of next week. The pads were on for the first time on Tuesday, which if you're watching on Wednesday, which is today, that was yesterday. So there's only been 1 padded practice up to this point, which really means it's tough to kind of decide who's been a winner and who's been a loser, especially in the trenches, because it's pretty much just been a glorified passing camp. So before I get the angry commenters and Karens in the comment section saying, Marshall, how are you going to call this guy a loser when he makes more money than you and he plays in the NFL? Well, the thing is, nobody is really a loser. It's training camp. We've had 1 padded practice, but I'm going to do my best to let you guys know who's standing out and who may be on the chopping block when it comes to the 53-man roster. But we are 39 days away from week 1 Sunday Night Football against the Dallas Cowboys. I am freaking pumped up. Inject it into my veins. If you are excited, I need you to go down right now and hit that thumbs up icon because we are 39 days away from week 1 versus the Cowboys. The biggest training camp winner for me is Tre Hawkins, the 6th-round selection, the defensive back out of Old Dominion. He started camp running with the 3s. Then he got some run with the 2s. And before you know it, he's been running with the first-team defense all week long. We've seen Hawkins on one side. We've seen Banks on another side. And we've seen Adoree Jackson play a little bit in the slot. This doesn't mean that Tre Hawkins is going to start over Adoree Jackson. He may start over Deonte Banks. We'll talk about him in a little bit. But I just love the fact that we're seeing Hawkins getting those reps against the number 1 wide receivers, against the number 1 quarterbacks, because I don't want to say it's easy to look good against the 2nd and 3rd stringers, but it's easier to look good against those guys compared to the 1st string, and he has carried that same swag and that same performance when he's gone up, heads up with the number 1 receivers. I mean, you look at this cornerback depth chart right now, there are some interesting prospects on here. Deonte Banks has had his up and downs. Cordell Flott has struggled a little bit, had some pop plays, had some not-so-pop plays. Darnay Holmes hasn't looked so good. Aaron Robinson still coming back from an injury. Nick McLeod has had some really nice plays. And you got Tre Hawkins, who went from 3rd team to 1st team in the matter of 5 practices. And a winner for the Giants on the offensive side of the ball is Daniel Jones. Big number 8, big money. DJ, $160 million man. This is the best that I have seen Daniel Jones look in training camp since I've really been paying close attention to the New York Football Giants. His arm looks stronger. He looks more confident. He has more swag. He just got that juice, and he just feels like he knows this is his team now. This is his organization. He is the face of the New York Football Giants, and I'm expecting this really hot streak for Jones to carry over into the regular season and for him to have his best season as an NFL quarterback with the New York Football Giants. DJ has looked really good, and I love how he's being a leader, staying after practice with young players like Jalin Hyatt and John Michael Schmitz and doing what quarterbacks and leaders do. I'm really proud of the way DJ has looked this summer. Probably, I know I said Tre Hawkins is the biggest winner. He's the biggest sleeper winner. The best player on the football field every single day, though, is Darren Waller, big number 1-2, the tight end, who was traded from the Raiders to the Giants for pick number 100. He's been unguardable. He can't be stopped. No linebackers, no corners, no safeties have been able to stop Darren Waller. He's able to do whatever he wants to do when it comes to being inside those white lines. He can line up at tight end. He can line up outside. He can line up in the slot. I say all this to say, if he can stay healthy, if Darren Waller can be that guy that's a reliable target for Daniel Jones all 17 games this year, he is going to be in consideration for an all-pro selection. Watch out if he's able to play. We may see seasons like he had in 2020 or 2019 when he had 90 grabs for almost 1,200 yards in 2019. Or what about if we got a season like 2020 where the guy had 107 receptions for 1,200 yards and 9 touchdowns? You get that Darren Waller type of production, this team's going back to the playoffs, and I'm talking more than just one win. one guy that has stood out to me on the defensive side of the ball, and I'm mainly basing this off the Tuesday practice where the Giants were padded up, Azeez Ojulari, the third-year edge rusher out of Georgia. He absolutely dominated in day one of padded practice. He looked good in one-on-one pass rush. He looked good in 11-on-11s. He looked good when he was just working in individual drills. He was causing havoc, had a couple of sacks, beat some offensive linemen. He has looked good, and I don't think that he is going to slow down anytime soon. He was great for the New York Giants in the limited opportunities that he had last year due to injuries. Listen to this. He only played in 7 games last year, but had 5.5 sacks. He only had 140 pass rush snaps last year. He had 1 sack for every 25 pass rush reps, and he had 19 total pressures, which mean every 7 snaps Azeez Ojulari played last year, he had a pressure. And he only played in 50% of the snaps in 3 games last year. So when he is on the field, he's able to get it into the backfield, put pressure on the quarterback, pin his ears back, and just be a guy that really wreaks havoc and is a disruptor. And I think Ojulari is going to have a huge season if he can stay healthy this year for New York. But the question I have for you is, who is going to have more sacks this year out of the young edge rushers? Is it Thibodeaux? Is it Ojulari? Type the number of the guy that you're rocking with down below. Couldn't talk about many training camp winners, without mentioning the speedster, Jalin Hyatt, the 3rd-round selection out of Tennessee. He has looked phenomenal. He started working with the 3s at camp. Then he got to the 2s, and now he's getting reps with the 1s. And that's what you want to see. Like we said for Tre Hawkins, you want to see that with Jalin Hyatt. I want to see him going up against Adoree Jackson and Deonte Banks and Tre Hawkins and some of these first-string wide receivers and cornerback matchups that the Giants have. He's also just showed why he's the fastest player in the NFL. He has been clocked at 24-plus miles per hour twice already at Giants camp. The fastest someone has ever been recorded in an NFL game is Tyreek Hill at 23 miles per hour. Hyatt's beat that twice already at Giants camp. Man, if he is able to stretch the field like I know he will be able to, it's going to be hard to keep him off the field for the Giants. The last player, actually, I wanted to touch on this. I misspoke right there. Those were the 5 winners we had, but I also want to touch on the position battles that we've been following on this channel. We've kept our eyes on that left guard, center, inside linebacker 2 spot, strong safety, and slot corner spot. And after day 6, these were the guys that were getting the first team reps at those spots. It was Ezeudu, at the left guard spot. John Michael Schmitz at center. Darian Beavers alongside Bobby Okereke. Jason Pinnock, after that crazy one-hand interception he had, he's starting alongside Xavier McKinney. Then you got Cordell Flott manning down the slot position, as I think he is going to be the starter there over Darnay Holmes. We got a couple of losers at training camp to talk about. Once again, they are not losers. But make sure you are subscribed to New York Giants Now by Chat Sports videos every day on Big Blue for free. So hit that sub button for nonstop Giants content all year long. Again, I just want to, because when we do these videos, we do mini camp winners and losers. We do rookie mini camp winners and losers. So everyone's like, Marshall, you're the loser, la da da da. Well, there's no real losers. So if you're complaining about me calling someone a loser, you might just be the loser. Let's start, though, with the guy that I think that has been most disappointing for Big Blue is rookie corner, 1st-round selection, Deonte Banks. I know there's some people that said, but Marshall, Brian Daboll said he's looked good. Of course Brian Daboll said he's looked good. What is he going to say? That guy we picked in the 1st round, he sucks. He can't cover anyone. He's allowed 5 touchdowns, and he needs to put his butt in gear. No, he's not going to say that. He's going to instill confidence in a young player that has had his ups and then downs, but more so downs than ups. I mean, if you just go watch the Giants highlights that they put out on their YouTube page, recapping every practice, you've seen number 36, unfortunately, give up a lot of touchdowns. But I say that to say there is no need to overreact to the first 6 training camp practices and make some strong declaration of if Deonte Banks is going to be a good football player in the NFL or not. There's a reason that the guy was selected at pick number 24 and not pick 12 or 14 or 16. There's a reason this guy is one of the most athletically promising corners to come out of the NFL Combine in quite some time, testing in the 99th percentile, and he lasted to pick number 24. He's got to sharpen up his game a little bit more. The technique has to get better. But I know this guy has a bunch of confidence, and I am not worried at all when it comes to Deonte Banks. I still truly believe he's going to be a special, special player for this organization for the foreseeable future. What about you? Are you worried about Deonte Banks and his early struggles at Giants training camp? Sound off. Type Y for yes, type N for no. I'm curious what you think. I also want to let you guys know about an awesome deal we have going on right now. If you go to chatsports.com/NYG sale, that's chatsports.com/NYG sale. You guys know I'm a Nike guy. I actually don't even have my Nike t-shirt on today. There are a whole bunch of Nike t-shirts, crew necks, long sleeves, hoodies that are on sale. Get yourself a Darren Waller jersey or just some tees to rock for the upcoming year. And make sure you just do it. Go to chatsports.com/NYG sale. That link will be clickable in the comments and description of this show. Let's talk about another corner that I think is actually not going to make this roster, and that is Darnay Holmes, the slot corner for the New York Giants. He has just not looked good so far. Like we've talked about, some people going from the third team to the first team. It's the opposite for Mr. Holmes. He has gone from the first team to the third team and even getting kind of roasted by the third team offense. He just hasn't looked good. You can see here he's given up a big play to Paris Campbell, and that's what you do as a DB. You give up big plays, especially in a passing camp. But, man, he has struggled, and there's a difference between getting beat and getting absolutely cooked. And Holmes, he's been cooked far too many times so far in camp. Another reason I think he could not make this roster is financial reasons. If the Giants do decide to move on from Darnay Holmes, they can save $2.7 million in cap space if they do so. They don't need the money like they did last year, but there's never a problem rolling over money into the middle of the season, maybe making some free agent signings or some trades, or just rolling it over into next year. I fear for Mr. Holmes, Darnay Holmes, who was once one of my guys on this team, could be on the chopping block, unfortunately. Another guy that has not looked good whatsoever is James Robinson, the recent free agent acquisition at the running back position. He's just looked slow. There's been no burst. The injuries that he has piled up through his NFL career in Jacksonville, then with the Jets, and then signing a 2-year deal with the Patriots this offseason, then getting cut like 2 months later. The injuries have caught up to J-Rob. Just doesn't look spry, doesn't look quick, doesn't look athletic. And I don't think the Giants are going to keep him on this roster. I think you're looking at Saquon Barkley, Matt Breida, Eric Gray, and if they're keeping a fourth back, I'd put my money on Gary Brightwell up to this point. So that was my winners and losers of training camp through the first 6 practices. If you want to yell at me over on Twitter, let's do it. Hit me up at @MarshallGreen_.